So I'm recording this video to show you guys some of my Clan War League hits, since some of you guys have been asking about them, and you'll see some of the different strategies that I use in the Clan War League. Now, my clan this season was in Champion 2. We're unfortunately not getting promoted because first place has like 2 more attacks to go and we're done with our attacks, and it was very close, but unfortunately second place. Overall, for me, on both of my accounts this Clan War League, I had 2 fails on each account. So at the end of the video, we'll also be looking at my fails. They were all time fails, I think, but still we'll be looking at what I could have done better. But now let's get into the first attack. Now here's the first attack, and it's going to be a fireball rocket balloon attack. And I know that a lot of you guys like the strategy and have been asking for more videos on it. So here you can see how I attack in the Clan War League. First I test for some traps to get some nice flame flinger value. So I pull out some skeletons, some Teslas, so obviously it was kind of baited, but I looked for the traps. And then test for rocket balloon before dropping the warden. And now we just wait a little bit. Now I noticed on this base that wherever I hit in the core, either this, or this, I'm going to get the clan castle. So it's overall not a very difficult fireball to execute, and it should be rather simple. Also, if you're wondering about like the bases I picked to attack in the Clan War League, I usually attack like last or towards the end, so I just take whichever bases are left over, or just the highest number base that's left to attack. So this was the base I had, so now we're just waiting a little bit. Flame Flinger's moving, and now Angry Jelly expires on the warden, and I'll drop the invisibilities. Or no need, I think, even for invisibilities, but I was being safe. Drop the fireball, nice, get the clan castle, and now I'm going to pull the warden towards the town hall, where the Flame Flinger also started to create a nice funnel. So I pulled the warden with 4 balloons very nicely, drop some minions behind the Flame Flinger for cleanup, and you'll see that in the Flame Flinger I actually have furnaces. Furnaces can be very good in the Flame Flinger, but it's important that if you're going to put furnaces inside of a Flame Flinger, that it doesn't die because it gets targeted by like Expos or a Town Hall or an enemy hero, because otherwise the furnaces will get killed, and that's kind of bad. So you have to pop the Flame Flinger a bit early if you have the furnaces. But anyways, now I start the heroes down towards the bottom side, king into his own compartment, queen around the outside. Warden is just moving. Now the furnaces are also getting a little bit of damage. And now everything looks pretty clear. Pop the queen ability, freeze king ability, and the base is kind of gone. Just have the royal champion left for the back end with a rage spell since I had it. And now all of the heroes are nice and healthy, and they can move through the rest of the base. So not much to do. We'll just speed up the finish, and that's going to be a nice 3-star. Okay. Now on my second account, I actually used Root Riders because that's what I mainly have the equipments upgraded for, although I'm starting to get kind of my other equipment towards the hard mode cap. So I basically switch between different variants of Root Riders, sometimes the Spirit Walk, 1 Overgrowth, 2 Overgrowth, sometimes the Log Launcher. On this base, I basically went for kind of a similar idea to the double Overgrowth approach, so you'll see what I do. Just doing a classic Royal Champion walk, and now since I see her getting kind of targeted by the Town Hall, I drop the invisibilities quickly, and actually the invis spells are done, just recall her. She got some decent value, but now overgrowthing the Town Hall, which is pretty important. That's what people usually do in their double overgrowth approaches, so the Root Riders can move around the Town Hall and not get damaged, and overall it's pretty safe for them. Warden has the Raid Gem and the Healing Tome, since I think it's pretty good, and there's not really a big Rage Tower on this base that's going to punish that. Now you might see all of the troops clumped up here, and you'll think like, I don't really see where this attack's going, like it doesn't look too good, but you'll see the idea I had with my king and queen now. So I drop the king to funnel, Root Rider is now going towards the base. Alright, I forgot to redeploy the RC, but now the warden ability. The hook tower was a bit annoying. but it's not too big of an issue. Now see, I have the king and queen circling along the outside of the base. I noticed the scattershot compartment was kind of weak to a king ability, and the king and queen would kind of get all of that. I debated putting like 2 overgrowths in this attack, but I thought, okay, when the troops get into the core, the pathing is pretty clear and simple, and I think the base is going to kind of get destroyed. And king ability, and now again, as you can see, all of the heroes are left alive. In normal mode, you just kind of need a decent plan with decent pathing and decent funneling, and you can basically triple any base. So we'll just speed this up. There are even Yetis moving from the troop launcher. I don't know if it's some glitch or something, but sometimes, I don't know if the troop launcher throws everything or what the deal is. But anyways, it's a nice 3-star. Now in total, there are 6 different bases that we're going to be looking at how I attacked them. And this is going to be the 3rd attack, another fireball rocket balloon hit on my main account. I also have an E-drag in this army. And notice the hook tower in the core. There are some interesting things you're going to see. But first of all, blimp for the town hall. Starting with a Yeti blimp's not always great in fireball rocket balloon attacks if you might pull the clan castle. But here I noticed that the clan castle wasn't in range. And after the Yeti blimp got an easy town hall, I just start with the warden charge. And then it would be pretty simple to kind of get it more towards the core, like here, get the clan castle, monolith, and multi-inferno. So we're just waiting a little bit slowly. And the plan with the E-drag while we wait for the warden was actually I saw I could chain this gold storage over there and the air defense, and then there wasn't too much air damage on that side of the base. But something happened, which we're going to look at in a little bit. But now just the warden. Angry Jelly should expire. Okay, it's gone. Now just 3 invis spells, nicely placed. And easy fireball, move the warden towards the outside with the 4 balloons to kind of pull him over. And then once the warden gets pulled, I start the queen over towards the bottom side of the base. Headhunters take out the minion prince. Will stay zoomed out a little bit. And now she can just move in with the king, wall break. Alright, I drop my E-drag here with a freeze and a rage. But unfortunately, the royal champion attacks him, which I didn't think about before. Which kind of messes him up a little bit, but he still gets decent value. So got some nice funneling kind of. And now the king and queen are moving. And now I knew that the king was going to get pulled by the hook tower, but I could pop his ability once he gets there. Or maybe now would have even been a good time for a king ability. It doesn't really matter though. King ability, he kind of gets the whole core, and that's pretty good. Queen's going to get everything. Royal champion is just kind of clean up. And now we wait a little bit. I have some more spells, rocket balloons, and hero abilities, so it's not really a big deal. Just use everything that's left, and a nice 3-star, nice plan for everything, clean pathing, and that's what gets it done with fireball rocket balloons. So speed up. And the next attack we have here is actually going to be a Spirit Walk Dragon attack. On my main account, I noticed there's a big rage tower and a bunch of defenses in the core, so I could take advantage of that with a long Spirit Walk. Now notice how I execute this. First of all, place Ice Golem Queen with the Angry Jelly and wall break to clear out that compartment. I wait until the timer goes to like 2 minutes and 50 seconds left before I drop the Royal Champion, so I can drop the invisibilities at 2 minutes 46, 2 minutes 36, like that, to keep the timing consistent. So now the queen got some nice funneling. Also, this air defense that the queen got is pretty important for later on. You'll see. Now, just a very simple Royal Champion charge. We wait a little bit. Invis spell to redirect. And now that I'm in the core, I'll start with double cycle invisibility spells. So dropping the invisibilities a little bit more regularly. And just pop the RC ability. Just moving through the core. Still have 2 more invisibility spells, which is kind of insane. I even have a rage spell. I could have swapped that out for more invis spells, which would have been even more value, but it's okay. I sometimes like to have just 1 rage spell as extra for the dragons. And now I have some archers to pull just one ice golem that's left. Somehow the CC died. But also the minions in this army are pretty important for cleanup and taking out the trash buildings. See, this Valkyrie takes this gold mine. And now the dragons have a pretty straight path through the base, which is really important these days ever since the Eternal Tome nerf on the Grand Warden. So the dragons have to stay in one clump and on one straight path, otherwise they won't really get the full benefit of the Eternal Tome. So we're just moving through. I have the Sneezy, I believe, on the Warden and the Phoenix on the Minion Prince. I also have the Dark Crown on the Minion Prince, which is really good with the Dark Orb because it lets him do a lot of damage. The Metal Pants are not really needed on the Minion Prince. Also just notice on the left I send a Slammer for the Sweeper. But basically the Metal Pants are not really needed on the Minion Prince if you pop his ability early, because there's nothing that he's going to tank for, but the Dark Orb is going to help slow things down for the dragons. So as you can see, he's dealing a lot of damage, the defenses are slowed for the dragons, and everything can kind of move simply through the back end. I had Yetis on the Stone Slammer, maybe not the best idea, maybe I thought I might rage them or something. But anyways, everything goes through the final defenses, and even if the Minion Prince goes to Phoenix, he'll still have his Dark Crown ability, so he'll be dealing a lot of damage, and this was a nice 3-star as well. And now on my second account, I have a Root Rider attack, but this time with the Log Launcher variation, and you're going to see what I do. So let's just speed it up till we can start. Okay, Royal Champion Charge starts. Just to take out this left corner of the base. So 4 Invis spells, pretty simple and standard. Just need to get nice timings for the Invis spells. I Invis the multi-archer tower so the RC can get this cannon, which is kind of important. And then I just recall instead of using the last Invis, because that was all the value I needed. No need to kind of take risks with more Invis spells. Also notice the giant arrow, but no need to take risks with too many Invis spells if you got your value, because otherwise the Spirit Fox might die. Now getting the Log Launcher with the Queen, Ice Golem also to tank for the Log Launcher, freeze the Minion Prince, the Log Launcher kind of needs to stay alive, and then I start the Root Riders quickly to kind of help tank for everything. But the Log Launcher does die a little bit early, which isn't great, but the Yetis are going to get the Monolith. King around the outside, mostly to help funnel. I believe I might have put the Giant Gauntlet, on him. I could have had the Snake Bracelet, but I don't have it that well leveled up on this account, so Snake Bracelet and the Spiky Ball would have also been good. Now Queen goes into the core, but I overgrowth the Town Hall and the Fire Spitters, so the Root Riders can continue to path around the area without taking the Town Hall damage. And the Queen is also dealing with the Ice Golems in the core nicely, so it was a really great overgrowth spell. Also, I just realized I didn't use my Warden ability. He has the Rage Gem and the Healing Tome, just to kind of speed things up. And, well, now Queen's taking care of the core. I have an Invis spell to help her out. And actually, there's really nothing much to this base left. I even have a Rage spell and the RC Rocket Spear ability, so let's just speed it up. The base is pretty much gone. I pop the RC ability now so the Root Riders can tank for her, and that was a nice attack as well. And this is going to be the final attack before we look at some of the attacks I failed on. But this is going to be a Fireball Rocket Balloon attack, and this base was actually from the World Championship qualifiers. A lot of the bases, I guess, in the Clan War League are from these tournaments and stuff, since people just like to copy them. But the good thing about that for me is that the bases aren't built against the Fireball range in normal mode, instead more built against hard mode, so I can get a lot more value than the base builder might have intended. Now again, I started with a Yeti Blimp to clear a nice funnel for the Warden. The Yeti Blimp doesn't pull the CC, which is super important, and we'll see in a bit actually why that's important in one of my next attacks. But now the Warden is just moving through. Unfortunately, he targeted the Scatter Shot before the Angry Jelly wore off, so I needed to invest a Rage spell. But now just some Invis spells, and he basically gets the whole core with a Fireball. Now again, pull the warden with balloons towards one side. I could have maybe pulled him towards the town hall, but I had another plan for that, so I pulled the warden towards there. And now a few minions and a Valkyrie to funnel that area. Queen and king together again to go down the right lane of the base. And for the town hall, I'm actually going to send the royal champion with a rocket spear so she can get totally deep into the core. So we just wait a little bit as things move through. Right, I have the royal champion here. Notice how she doesn't pull the warden or anything like that. Now I just freeze. I missed the freeze on the fire spitter, but it's okay. The plan is good, so it's not like everything has to be perfect. Nice royal champion ability. Queen and king still have their abilities, so yeah, a lot of firepower left. Warden still moving through pretty healthy. King still has his ability somehow because the base does 0 damage on normal mode. Now Warden engages the defensive king, Headhunter and a rage spell, pretty nice to save him. And I have like 16 rocket balloons left, so a lot I can do, just kind of swarm them around. And we can actually speed it up. There's nothing left to see here. The base is completely crushed and it's a nice 3-star. Now we're going to quickly look at the attacks I failed on and just see what I could have improved, since that's also kind of important. So on this attack, I went in with a pretty long royal champion dive, also a Yeti to help funnel the RC. So just kind of getting the RC dive moving. The Yeti, unfortunately, it was also 2 levels lower from max, so maybe didn't get as much value as I could have liked. But no, got the mortar actually pretty nice. Now the RC is getting towards the core. I think I even have the haste vial on her. We're about to find out in a second. It was a pretty well executed RC dive. Now here I think should have been enough value for the RC, but I kept her moving. The main reason is it's just a bit slow on time, but it's okay. Getting some nice invis spells. We can actually speed up since we don't really have to look too much into this attack. Root Riders in, and then Queen to kind of help funnel. Now I had the king with the earthquake boots and spiky ball, but actually we'll just keep it a bit faster. Now unfortunately I kind of didn't use my king ability well, because here I should have used it and destroyed the core, but instead I had the warden ability. And since there wasn't much damage, also the eternal tome was kind of wasted, so I probably should have went with a raid gem. And now I pop the king ability, which isn't really a good time because he doesn't get good value. So overall it was a decent plan. Also RC died through her ability, which was kind of bad. So as you can see, a few things have to go wrong for you to fail. My RC died through ability. Maybe I guess the attack was a bit slow, not having the Raid Gem and Healing Tome. King didn't also get great value. So as you can see, several things wrong with my heroes. Maybe didn't play it perfectly, but it was a time fail in the end. So my last attack was just a time fail, I guess bad choices on the Warden equipment and kind of a wasted king ability, but overall otherwise pretty decent. Now this is another attack that I failed, also a time fail, but we'll see what I could have done better maybe to speed things up a bit. It was a nice Royal Champion charge, let's just speed it up a bit. Now this base, I did kind of find it annoying to plan on for Root Riders, but anyways, I tried my best to come up with something. I thought, okay, we'll just do something simple like this. Nice Royal Champion charge, recall out, and just sent in the Root Riders. Now at least the Raid Gem speed things up, but yeah, the king kind of went inside the base, which maybe wasn't great. I should have had like the queen funneling first, and then like the king more towards the outside. I don't know, it was decent anyways, but it also ended up being a time fail, 99%. I had the giant gauntlet in the rage vial, which was also kind of bad, I guess. With the earthquake boots and spiky ball, things would have been a bit faster, but again a time fail in the end, still a decent plan. And now we have this attack with the fireball into rocket balloons, so we'll see what I did. Now I set up for a quick fireball with the warden around the outside, as the space doesn't have too much fireball value, but I still tried to do something. Now, maybe I could have like funneled with a blimp here to kind of let the warden have a quick path into the town hall. But actually, I think it turned out okay. He just fought the CC, which is a bit slow. King got pulled by the hook tower. King ability in the core was okay-ish. And then the siege barracks helping to fund the queen in. Now, this wall break did not get into the multi, which was kind of bad. But I guess it wasn't too bad, but still. Okay, maybe this rage spell wasn't needed as well. I think I dropped these rocket balloons to help the warden get onto the town hall or something, but looked decent. But now this RC wasn't also super great because now she's kind of going to die from the enemy heroes. If she was like around this top side and supported by rocket balloons, that might have been a bit better. She would have been able to more easily take out the enemy heroes. But it's okay, we'll just speed it up. And again, it was decent, but unfortunately the RC died a bit quick. And it was a time fail in the end, so it was still a decent attack, but didn't work out too great. And this is the final attack we're going to look at, and another fireball into rocket balloon attack. Now here I kind of made a big mistake, because I thought, okay, I'll let the king get pulled by the hook tower, destroy this compartment, but the problem was he kind of pulls the CC, which is pretty annoying. But the other problem with it is I could have just blimped this out, like used a Yeti blimp, and it would have been much easier. Like the king is a big investment. But now pulling the CC, as you can see, is a big problem. Maybe if I had just done a warden walk around here or something, or did something with just invisibility spells for a quick fireball into the core, that would have been easier, but the way I did it here was not super great. King wasted time with the CC, and the furnaces were super annoying. Actually, I think if I poisoned the furnace, this would have worked out fine, but again, this just really slow. The angry jelly is wasted. I could have also pulled the ice golem and fought it somewhere else, but we'll speed things up a bit. Okay, cleared the way for a fireball. Decent fireball into the core, got some nice value, and then the queen and the siege barracks, but it's a little bit of a long way for them to travel. Still, it's okay. Queen's moving through, pop the RC into there. Was a bit risky. Maybe I should have used the RC to save the warden. Actually, the warden stayed alive. Queen lived, but it was in the end a time fail. I wasted too much time with the CC. So those were my attacks for this Clan War League. I hope you enjoyed them. I guess the main takeaway is try to be a bit quicker with your attacks, to not get too close on times. But generally, as long as you get super clean pathing for all your troops and everything, time or power shouldn't be a problem, and you should be able to get some nice 3 stars. So thanks for watching this, and bye-bye.